What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I'm here with the one and only, the Knowledge, after the holiday season. Knowledge, how you doing, brother?
I'm blessed, Kurt. How you doing? Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to slip the counterpunch every day, so it's not easy.
No, it's not easy, man, especially when you're getting countered on top of an attack. Definitely. Man, you know, we were talking briefly about Errol, the Truth Spence, and Timothy Bradley, and the back and forth between these two guys. Man, what's up with these two guys, Timothy Bradley and Errol, the Truth Spence?
I don't know. I just think it's competitive edge. That's all it is. It's just competitive edge that brings out these kind of things. And, you know how it goes. Boxing. But I think both of these guys need to stop trying to be queens of the dance hall. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're trying to be dance hall queens. They need to forget all of that and just deal about competing against the best. It's like when you hear in comparison that these guys are arguing about pay-per-view numbers, right? Pay-per-view numbers. In comparison to the UK, which is a far more smaller place, right? And has less population than the whole of America. And these guys are doing 350,000 pay-per-view buys, and you're arguing about, you know what I mean? What was it? What's on Jay-Z's album when he goes, like, you're arguing about being the tallest midget in the room. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Comparison, the week before last, Anthony Joshua box, and I think he done, in the UK, we're talking, he done something like 650,000 buys, if not more than that. And that's just in the UK.
Right.
So let's stop arguing about these little trinkets of who, this is a simple thing what these men have to do. Let's go 50-50 down the split, right? And the winner gets the 10% to make it 60-40. If you're so confident in what you could bring to the table, in your fighting ability, Terence Crawford, if you're so confident about what you bring in your ability, Errol Spence Jr., meet in the middle. And that's how it's done. Because you're arguing about these tiny numbers. Now, what I'm trying to say is, like, they need to make this fight so big that the UK want to buy it and the UK want to put it on a pay-per-view platform. In order for that to happen, I mean, Terence Crawford needs to be more of a crossover star, right? As a fighter, the guy's superb, absolutely superb. And I understand when he's saying, "Well, I don't need to you're not ask another fighter to do these kind of braggadocial things and and I understand, but what these guys need to realize is that this is show business, right?
Business for show.
Show. Put on the show. It's as simple as that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just keeping it 100 because right now, if I was to walk around the streets of Great Britain with a picture of both of these guys and say, "Do you know who they wouldn't know who they are."
Wouldn't know who they are.
They wouldn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that unfortunately is the problem. I think in the UK we have the biggest fans and the best fans. We have knowledgeable fans. They're not just fans for the sake of fans. But then we've had guys who have been crossover stars that will bring the unknowledgeable people debating about and talking about the sport. And about a sport that I emphatically love, to tell you the honest truth. So I think what Terence Crawford and these guys need to do, because you're hearing of the disparity between him and Top Rank and blah, blah, blah. I'm just keeping it 100. You need to sell this thing on a global scale. They both of them couldn't do, like, for somebody to make this happen in the middle. Listen. Even though I work for the foundation, but I would say, like, them man should come reason with MTK Global, 100%. Come and reason with them and see what they could do. Because it would be a sin if that fight didn't happen. A sin. And I'm just keeping it 100. But these guys arguing over bragging rights and all the rest of it, how it goes is this. Terence Crawford's claims, listen, I'm pound for pound king in his mind. right? People can argue and say it's Canelo. Because you look at the resume of Canelo, then we're going to say, well, it could be Canelo. But what I do know with Terence Crawford, there's been no conspiracy about him eating any dodgy meat. None.
True.
Right?
True.
Okay.
Counterpunch. Yeah.
Right? So he has claims to say that he's the best fighter in the world. Right? But then with Errol Spence's counterpunch, I'm learning from you now. Errol Spence's counterpunch is, listen, I've beaten more fighters who will potentially be Hall of Famers in the future than you have. So I've beaten the bigger household names than you have beaten. There could be a claim there. Right. So, like I said, 50-50, 40-60 to the winner, and it's a wrap. Right? Yeah. And the first, and you make sure that's a free fight deal, and you know those two going out, they'll come and give it. They will give their best, and the fight should happen.
Right.
As simple as that.
No, I agree. Definitely what you're saying. And that is a compromising solution to the problem. That's if the ego shit needs to be out the window and out of this discussion if we want it to work. But here's the thing. Here's my counterpunch, my opinion. The question I asked, what is really going on though? He's saying, hey, 60-40 or whatever we give him. That's the last thing that Errol Spence said. We're going to give him 60-40. No, 60. Yeah, 60-40.
No, he said 70-30, wasn't it?
Yes, 60-40 or 70-30 or whatever we want to give him. So that's not really even – well, he's like take it or leave it type of situation now. But then I don't even – I'm not sure if it's 70-30, 60-40, or whatever, because he said whatever. When he was on that DAZN interview, if you remember seeing that, if you saw that, he said 60-40, 70-30, or whatever. So it could be less than 70-30.
Nah,
so you
well,
something like
I think we're overreading into that. And also, let me just big up Blue Jays Calf, Portland Road. They made me a wicked rum cake. I'm eating it now with custard, right?
Okay.
I put on so much weight over Christmas, I swear to God. I put on so much. But I don't care, man. The food's too delicious.
Right. Shout out the rum cake.
Yeah. Well, the rum cake's wicked. Big up Blue Jays Calf. But I'm just keeping it 100. I wouldn't overread into what Errol Spencer just said. Right? Because everyone's saying, oh, he's chasing Canelo now because he's looking to cash out. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that, no. I believe that Errol Spence actually thinks that he can beat Canelo. Because he's been talking about the fight for 2 years.
He has. You're right, he has.
Right. That's not, but what I don't want Errol Spence to fall into the trap of is to end up being like a Amir Khan, waiting for a big payday fight with Floyd Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao and miss the opportunity to fight other great fighters that they could have mixed with. I don't want to miss the opportunity. Right? I don't want to miss the opportunity like what Kell Brook did, where he was calling out King Khan for the longest time, winning that fight, and your attentions waver to watching that fight instead of watching taking care of your own shit. So that's my 2 pence worth of my counterpunch to the whole thing of the counterpunch.
Right. So I get what you're saying. What you're saying is he wasn't really, you just disregard what he was talking about Terence Crawford because the energy and the attention wasn't on Terence Crawford. It was on Canelo and what Canelo does that night.
Yeah.
And what could possibly happen between him and Canelo.
Yeah.
You're right.
But at the end of the day is this, if Canelo's looking for someone viable for him to go in and fight right now, Beterbiev be a good fight for him. He got up to 175, which he's done when he knocked out Kovalev. Bivol be a decent fight for him.
Yeah, would.
I rate Bivol. I think he's a very good fighter.
Right.
But why did he seem to forget Charlo's name?
Right.
Charlo's the guy. Anyone that he's made me miss him with right now, he should be saying, "Come, let's go do this." Mm-hmm. Out of anybody, Charlo should get a shot.
Well, see, Charlo was in the same situation as Devin Haney at 160. He was the 160-pound Devin Haney situation when he was given the WBC belt because of the franchise situation that was granted to Canelo at 160, just like it was granted to Lomachenko at
Yeah, I
135.
understand that. I understand the situation. No disrespect to Devin Haney, who I rate, and I think he's a future star. Right? A future star.
Yeah.
But you see, right now, if anybody's ready for that fight, then I'll say it's Charlo. Regardless that, why was he given a title? He was given a title because the other guys weren't willing to fight him. It's not like he was this. The difference is this. I heard Devin Haney calling that at the time to fight Lomachenko. I could not see Devin Haney beating Lomachenko. Right?
Right.
Too good. Right? With Charlo, here is a seasoned assassin. Let's call it as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and before, I remember ages ago when they were calling out the fight ages ago, and Bernard Hopkins saying, well, you know what, you got to build your name a little bit and first, and then you're going to get a shot. So,
I remember that. Yeah.
Which I understand. And that's 2 years ago, which I understand. I understand the process. But what I'm also saying is like, he'd come to fight though. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is no disrespect to Callum Smith, who's my guy. Seriously, this time last year, we were at a massive Christmas party in Dubai. Myself and my family and Callum's family as well. And all the Smiths, I've known them for years. I've known Callum since he's been a kid. Canelo takes away stuff from you. And I was surprised on how Canelo dealt with Callum Smith. I rate Callum as a fighter. Different proposition with Charlo. I just want you to realize this part here. Different proposition with Charlo. Charlo ain't gonna give you that respect. Right?
Right.
I swear down. I'm seeing how Charlo rolls on certain things. I swear down he's got Jamaican in him. Right? He rolls like some bad man. So therefore, that's all that's my 2 pence worth on that one.
Yeah, it should be Charlo, definitely. Yeah, that was 2 years ago when Bernard Hopkins said that. And to add to that, I mean, since then, he's fought Dennis Hogan. He's fought Derevyanchenko, which clearly hurt Triple G. You know, so if you weren't convinced with the Hogan fight, you should be convinced by the Derevyanchenko fight. You know,
on the manner of how he dealt with him, because he done a far superior job than what Golovkin did.
Right, definitely, he did. He did that. It was a closer fight with Golovkin. And in fact, Golovkin should have fought him again. They should have made a saga, gave that man some money, gave that man some respect, and got back in the ring with that man if he was confident he could beat that.
But you know what's going to happen. They're both at the zone. They're going to make the trilogy between Golovkin and Canelo. And this time, I'm telling you, Canelo will stop him.
Wow. Yeah. I believe that. I think
Canelo would. He'll hurt him bad.
You know, and they're talking about that fight being at 168 too. So
even worse.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
Golovkin is he's not a huge middleweight either. He's a good puncher, tough puncher,
he's an incredible puncher, but he's an old puncher, right? He's an old puncher, and we just got to tell you. And he looked old in his last fight as well.
Yeah,
he did. He looked old, and it was kind of sad. And even though he's trying new things, he's being trained by Jonathan Banks, who's my friend. Me and Jonathan have good conversation. I like Jonathan Banks a lot, but you know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, bro. I'm a firm believer in that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Things that you're teaching them could be already in them from a long time, and you've come along and brought it out of them. But I don't think you teach an old dog new tricks. And by saying that, Golovkin's old. And we're seeing his performances now. And not only that, with the lack of the crowd as well, it seems like he's fighting disinterested.
Right.
So, yeah, that's how I see that one.
You know, he's not even calling Canelo's name like that no more, if you noticed.
Yeah.
Like the fire's going out.
Yeah, he's been somewhat deflated because, you know, he could argue that he won the last 2 fights. He could argue that. Right? Because they were close fights.
Right.
But it is what it is, and he understands the power and the allure that Canelo has. And no matter how much people be ranting about Golovkin, who is a good fighter, let's not get twisted, he's a very good fighter. But Canelo's got something different about him. He's got something different where if you think it's 1 in 3 Mexicans watching when he fights, And Mexico's got 130 million people there. You're a superstar.
Right.
Like, that's a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that man could turn around and say, it's 90-10, and you ain't going to argue over it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Okay. So, before we argue over, as I said, being the tallest midget in the room, let's build up our numbers first on our profiles.
All right. Hey, that's true. As far as Golovkin, though, I think Golovkin will be 39 next year, won't he?
Yep.
Wow. Now, if he's anything like Klitschko, he should be fine. But I mean, somebody's going to hurt him. Somebody's going to get to him. Deverenchenko cracked him. He gave him a crack in the side. You know,
it was hurt.
Yeah.
It was hurt in that fight.
Yeah, he stopped. I never seen that before with Golovkin ever. And all the times I've seen him fight, I never seen him hurt to that degree. I've seen Canelo hurt him with a body shot, but it wasn't that drastic. You know what I'm saying? He stopped him in his tracks when he hit this man with a right hook to the body. Golovkin stepped back and paused.
And sucked in the air.
Yep.
Right. And and I know, because like I used to love body shots. So, and when that happens, you get that, you know that hurt. So, yeah, you know that hurt. You was visiting the toilet, I mean, without taking Senecod. After that, I know that for a fact. Those punches hurt. But you know it goes.
Back to Canelo. Who do you think can beat Canelo at 168? Or, you know what? Screw it.
Nobody. I'm being real. What I saw last week with Canelo, the guy's bad. Seriously. Right. Nobody. No, I can't see anyone beating him. But especially at 168, nobody at all. Guy's a monster. And it's not just how he just has disregard for anything that you do. And it's a disregard that is brought through the manner how he trains and the self-confidence, self-belief that he has. Because he will shuffle his feet on the inside to be in punching range. And as he's in punching range, he will slip, he will slide, he will throw horrible hooks downstairs, he'll throw to the top of your shoulder, to your elbow. Seriously, you know what? Me watching him do what he did to Callum Smith the other day was me watching near enough a complete fighter. I'm just telling it as it is. And that was complete. And maybe it is that I'm going to be a little bit biased, because I swear blind that Callum could have done a number on him. I rate Callum Smith. He made Callum Smith go in his shell. Let's be real.
Yeah.
He made him go in his shell. And Callum Smith is a well-accomplished fighter, a Ring Magazine champion, a guy that won the Super Series. He ain't no mug. A good fighter. And he made a good fighter look very, very ordinary.
Wow.
And that would be like, shit, this, you know, Canelo's bad. I've been arguing for ages with Babatunde Ajayi. Like, he would say Canelo's the best fighter in the world. Yeah, best fighter in the world. He's getting that point by Amir Khan. But me saying that, he was saying he was allowing Amir Khan so he could get in punching range, because once I touch him, he's gone. And I can't argue with it, because that's exactly what happened in that fight. But Canelo's serious. But he should fight Charlo.
Think Charlo's that guy. You think Charlo's that guy?
I think Charlo could give him that run. I do. I think Charlo could. Reason why? Because Charlo's ignorant enough to stand there with him as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a tough guy too, though. It's another tough customer.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Danny Jacobs, and I've known Danny Jacobs since he was a child. When we used to go out to New York, I used to bring guys out for sparring. Let's spar with Danny. It's an amazing story of Danny Jacobs, right? But Danny didn't come remotely close when he fought Canelo.
No.
He didn't. He didn't come like... So, and I rate Danny. So you got to understand the kind of entity that you're dealing with when you're dealing with Canelo. Good fighter. But I don't like how Charlo's on the outside. Bring Charlo in, man. I swear down. We got to start a lobby to bring Charlo in. He needs... Trust me. I think Charlo could give him that work.
Yeah, I think that would be a very good fight. And if Charlo, you think it's what are the chances you think that fight is to get made between Charlo and Canelo?
You know what? When of the split between with Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo, and he fought right, and then there was talk about his contract now with the Zone was void, and all the rest of it. I thought we were gonna go to Al Heyman. I thought that was gonna be the thing, but him and Al, they're gonna sort out a deal. But fair play to Eddie Hearn. I mean, you got him on the channel. But the thing about it is this: when you're a global entity like Canelo is, you don't need no promoter. You can hop, skip, and jump if you want. Yep. But he may look for the easier options because the thing about it is this: him and Golovkin would still sell. It would sell.
Yeah.
But for the guys who are clued up in boxing, we'll still watch it, but it won't be as mouth-watering as like when it was first muted or in the second fight. It wouldn't be.
Right.
But we still watch it to think, you know what, let's see. But the thing about it is this: Canelo showed that he could take his shots, and he took them, and it seems like he's getting fitter as well. So yeah, is what it is.
Okay. So nobody can beat Canelo from 160 to 168 at all. Charlo will give him a run for his money.
I think Charlo's got the best chance of beating him.
Okay. Okay. How Golovkin, do you think he should retire?
No. Because he still holds a version of the world title as IBF champion, right?
Right.
He still holds a version of the world title. There is still a demand to see Golovkin fight. There is. So no, I don't think that he should retire. I still think he's got to fight. I used to be really harsh on Golovkin. And that's only because you see, like when a new fighter comes in and everyone goes nuts, like they're seeing something new that they haven't seen before. They're seeing this punching power of Golovkin and everyone's going wild over it. I'm saying I've yet to see a concussive knockout win of Golovkin against a world-class opponent. I used to see that regular with Julian Jackson. You know what I mean? The former junior middle and middleweight world champion. I used to see that quite regular. He was the WBA champion and WBC middleweight champion. I used to see a lot of concussive knockouts there with him. I used to see a lot of concussive knockouts with Nigel Benn, the former WBO and WBC super middleweight champion. That's what I've been used to. I've grown up seeing punches. So when we're seeing a puncher now, all of a sudden, everyone's, this guy, the guy nuts over it. I'm saying, nah, brother. I've seen punches.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I've grown up watching punches, or like the detonation of the right hand that Tommy Hearns would administer on you. No, I've seen fighters do some freaky stuff. So no, I wasn't overly gassed when everyone was talking about this Golovkin. But how it goes is this: is like, because I would say that, then people get up and say, why are you crazy? No, because I know it's like there's a lot of Eastern European fighters. As soon as they come out, people got like they don't watch boxing. They're these little newbies who sit down on computer screens now and think they can talk boxing. I'm saying, bro, have you ever just sit down and watched, or there's something to the ambience of being around in that era where you actually felt that energy of that person, where we've been around horrid punches throughout history, especially in the middleweight division. I'm saying, nah, brother. No. Yeah, he's a good puncher, but I can't get gassed over this. Just like I couldn't really overly get gassed over Lomachenko.
Right.
You mean, as soon as Lomachenko comes out and he's doing his little tricks, then everyone said, Lomachenko, he's the greatest thing. Well, I'm saying, wait a minute. I'm sure I used to watch Pernell Whitaker do similar stuff to a higher level against higher opponents.
Absolutely.
Than what this dude's did. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, Whitaker was definitely a person that didn't get the credit. He was the actual one to unofficially beat Julio Cesar Chavez.
He did beat.
Without about it.
They gave a draw.
but you know it came right back around with the counter. He lost the very next fight.
Yep, he did. Frankie Randall, may Frankie Randall rest in peace.
That's it, right?
Yeah, he passed away last week. Yeah, Frankie was a good fighter, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good fight. I remember in 1985, Frankie Randall came to the UK and he boxed in England. He fought Edwin Rosario, who was a superb lightweight. He fought Edwin Rosario over 10 rounds, and at that time, Frankie Randall was 23-0, and Edwin Rosario just lost his world crown. And they were trying to against Ramirez, he lost his crown too, and there was a link up. They had big power broker in the UK at the time was a man called Mickey Duff, who passed away about 5 years ago now, Mickey Duff. And Mickey Duff was linked to Jim Jacobs, who famously managed Mike Tyson, but he also managed Edwin Rosario. So they had that link. So they had in the York Hall, which is like the Blue Horizon in Philly, the York Hall in London, Bethnal Green, they fought there. And it was beamed over to America. So yeah, Frankie Randall was a very, very good fight. He used to style himself on Sugar and End, but he'd fight from a handheld guard. Very, very good fighter, man.
Yeah, he had some great accomplishments in the sport of boxing, 3-time champion. So, just unfortunate that, we're linking Parkinson to dementia, to his condition, to boxing. So, it's one of the things that makes you understand that this is not a game. So
it's not a game. It's a very, very serious sport. It's a very, I'll say to any young fighter, I know that you get good numbers, Kurt. So to any young fighter out there, study this game and have the realization that this is not a joke. This sport is not a joke. And it's a very, very unforgiving sport. Right. And it's an unforgiving sport for people who are looking for forgiveness, because really and truly, to these promoters, you actually are a piece of meat. They may want to go like, oh yeah, he's my buddy. No man, I love this kid, man. And no, they don't. Just to be real, keep it 100. Right. They don't. So find a group of people that respect yourself and your value, and live by that, and get a close net of people around you, and plow forward, because this is a very, very hurtful game. It's like Frankie Randall, I think his highest purse was like $100,000 or something.
Yeah, it wasn't very big.
Right.
It might have been 200,000, I think.
What is that? A man that beat Oleksandr Usyk.
And I think that was I want to say it wasn't the Oberkar fight. It was I think it was the third Julio Cesar Chavez fight.
Right, and he was done then. Right. Yeah. So the third Julio Cesar Chavez fight, that was a non-title fight, right? When Julio Cesar Chavez was going on this round robin tour, right? Sad, because it was done at that time.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a sad. It's different. It's more different now. Fighters actually realizing their worth, and they're getting their worth. But yeah, I'm saying for any young fighter out there, know your worth and work friggin' hard. Simple as that. Work hard. Yeah. If you love the sport, any young fighter, becoming fighter. If I was to come to your house, you're meant to have boxing on the TV. Constantly. Have the greats. Model yourself for someone great, and have it constantly on the TV, so it sinks into your subconscious. Right? So you will actually do things when you don't even know that you're doing them. Right? Because like I said, this is an unforgiving sport, man. And we're getting a lot of con artists who just jump into the sport, don't know nothing about it, and they believe all of a sudden they're earning a living, or they believe that they're aficionados of the sport when they don't know nothing. And you say, oh, well, like they jump in and say, oh man, I was watching this old-time fight. And you say, what old-time fight was that? And they'll say, yeah, I was watching Leonard Benitez. That's not what I speak to me. Jake, I'm trying to say to you, you got to delve into this Tonight, knowledge is power, and it is power. Hence why we don't want people to be knowledgeable.
Right. Yeah, you know, I think that Joshua was on to something when he wanted to make it was a fund for retired fighters.
Yeah.
You know, I think that was pretty generous and gratifying. I hope something happens of it, because guys like Frankie Randall, you got guys like that people never heard of, Julian the Big O Letterlow, you know, guys like that, you know, that went broke before. He was an ESPN Friday Night fighter, you know, guys like that didn't use their money wisely, made some money. Michael Moore, you know, he was talking about it at one point.
Work it out. Michael Moore, what did he amass out of boxing? Was it 50 mil he made from boxing, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it was something like that.
No
I remember
idea.
watching an interview to him. He made some good money, right? But then he was breaking it down how the money gets chopped up.
Right.
And it's nuts. But there's loads of guys who've been in situations and come through hardships and and then, you know what I mean? It happens. That's the sport.
Yeah. The sport that I love, that I hate so much, you know?
Yeah, it's the sport. It's the sport.
Okay. The knowledge. Last topic. Okay. Oleksandr Usyk calling out the former WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. What's your thoughts on that?
Why is he calling him out?
I don't know. I mean, it was the step aside money. And he said he would also like to fight Deontay Wilder. That would be one of the guys that he would like to fight. Now, it's unclear if he would take the step aside money. Would he also fight Deontay Wilder and make a fight purse?
Check this one out then, Kurt, right? Let me counterpunch that one. Who's advising Usyk? Who's his promoter?
Eddie Hearn now, right?
Yeah, he's with Matchroom, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Who is potentially the stumbling block why Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury can't fight each other?
Oleksandr Usyk.
Yeah, and Deontay Wilder.
Right, and Wilder.
Deontay Wilder saying, well, look, man, you got to honor this stuff and you got to fight me and all the rest of it. So, okay, then, let's be real. Usyk, you fight for the WBO title, right, against Anthony Joshua. The WBO gets sanction fees. There is no way that the WBO would make anything in comparison with Oleksandr Usyk than they would with Tyson Fury. That's number one. Number two, Usyk didn't impress me in his last fight against Derek Chisora, right? And if anybody said that they were impressed by it, you're an idiot, because I wasn't impressed by it, right? If he went out there and knocked out Derek Chisora in 2 rounds or stopped him in 5 rounds, we would have said, raw, no, give this guy a shot. He's not in no bargaining position. Bar the fact that the WBO said they will honor him by making him fight Anthony Joshua or fight for the WBO title.
Right.
Right. So there's 2 stumbling blocks. The easiest thing now, you call out him, and then the winner gets to fight the winner of AJ Tyson Fury. Of course he's going to be down with it, because he's thinking, well, I want longevity as well. Right?
Right.
And on the reels, even though he signed with Matchroom, he could get frozen out. Right? Because there isn't a big, massive demand for Usyk. Let's be real. Is anyone talking about it in America? Let's not be disrespectful, because he's a fantastic fighter. But I'm just being real. I'm not overly interested in it. I was when he first was being muted that he's going to move up. I said, shit, he's going to be a problem. Right? I'll say, Anthony Joshua, fight him now, knock him out now, before he gets settled as a heavyweight. But he didn't impress me against Derek Chisora at all. The There's Joe Joyce waiting in the wing saying, "Look, I'll fight you."
Right.
So easiest thing to do now is like, well, then okay, then let's say interest to say like we'd like to fight Deontay Wilder, and then Deontay Wilder saying, which that would be a good fight because of the size, but when you can hit like Deontay Wilder, it takes one shot, and it will take a big man like a Tyson Fury to nullify the stuff that he's doing. I could see Oleksandr Usyk mugging him off, but I think eventually Wilder will catch him. If Wilder still believes in his juju magic that he's got in his hands.
Right.
You know he's got something in his hands. I know you got something. Wilder, I know you got something in your hands. Right? All right. I know you got the ancestors in your hands. So
right.
That thing just can't work on gypsies because they know the thing as well.
There you go. There you go. So it takes one shot. That was actually my counterpunch on it when I heard about it. It just takes one shot, and I think Usyk. This is what I think about though when I think of Usyk. I think of what Usyk did to Joe Joyce.
Bro, that was 50 years ago, man.
It was 50 years ago. Okay.
It's 50 years ago.
I think about what he
Joe
did.
Joyce has improved. Come on, man. Joe Joyce has improved.
Oh yeah, I believe so.
He's improved.
I believe he has. Also, do you recall the incident with him and Vladimir Klitschko?
Oh, that he beat him up his spine.
Right. The media day when he kicked him out.
Yeah.
Now,
So
Vladimir is a full-fledged middle heavyweight. So he had his way with him, supposedly.
Okay. All right, let me counterpunch that. All of that. Did Usyk look good against Derek Chisora?
No.
Exactly. I rest my case.
But Derek Chisora, man, he's a beast. He's an unorthodox, driven fighter with nothing to lose.
He's an old beast. He's a beast, but he's an old beast.
Yeah, he's an old beast.
Right. I said old beast. He's not old beast. He's an old beast. Okay? So, no, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not buying that one.
Right.
I'm not buying it at all.
So
that's 100.
So you think he doesn't have any chance against Wilder, beating Wilder?
Depending on where Wilder is mentally, he will be outpointing Wilder, and Wilder would hit him with one of those juju voodoo punches, and it's done. Yeah, to this day, right? He'll hit one of them to this day punches, and it'll be done. But it all depends on the desire of Deontay Wilder, to tell you the honest truth, right? Yeah. Because
I think he would be even interested in a fight like that. Anyway,
nah, because it won't be. No, I don't think so. Because I don't think there'd be enough money on the table.
Yeah.
To be real, I don't think there will be.
Yeah, I mean, well, what could you offer Wilder to take a fight with? You know what I'm saying? Like with Usyk.
Yeah, and it's a risky fight as well because he could get outpointed. So he could. Well, but I just think Wilder could stick it on Usyk because of his temperament. I just believe they could stick it on him.
Well, to be fair, I mean, everybody was pretty much outpointing Wilder until he hit him.
Yeah.
So, I don't think see, a person with the mindset of not even outpointing you is a very, very, very dangerous person, because his intention is not to outpoint you or to outwork you or to do any type of competition. No, it's to knock you out.
Yep.
So that's a dangerous fight between both. It just surprised me to hear Usyk call out Wilder. But I will say this. He subliminally, quote unquote, brought up Glovegate. Now, the old historic Oleksandr Usyk, he said, I won't talk about the accusations, but he quoted, I think it was a fair fight, and I think Tyson Fury was the better man on that night.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, like, you know what people say. Every time they say something, then they say, but. That's what they're really going to say.
You know what? I'm tired. I'm all tired out of speaking about this Glovegate foolishness, right? You know what I mean? Because I ain't even talking about it. I wish Deontay Wilder all the best, to tell you the honest truth. I can't entertain that no more. I'm done talking on it, right? And I'm done these little idiots who get 60 views on their YouTube channel calling my name every time they want to go at it, and they want to call me or Johnny Nelson or Nigel Benn and Uncle Tom and all the rest of it, right? So I'm tired. I'm tired of the abuse from certain guys in America who are just, they are so blinkered to one narrative that they can't see everything else around them. You know what I mean? I'm very fortunate that I'm not blinkered and I can see everything around me, right? And I'm a respecter of skill. I don't care what nationality the guy is demonstrating from, as long as you are demonstrating skill to the analogs of history that I have been embedded in watching since a very, very young age. So if you're doing that, then I'm down with you. If you're not doing that, just because of someone's skin tone, that doesn't mean that I have to support you. I'm sorry, I'm one of those kind of guys, right?
Counterpunch.
Just like in Great Britain, loads of people say, oh, you should be supporting him because he's British. No, I support this guy because his skill set's bad. And I respect that. You know what I mean? Because I'm a global national, right? Right. So anywhere you put me in the world, I'll survive there. That's how I roll.
Yeah. That reminds me of Larry Merchant, you know, the comments that he made, and he was just like, oh, well, I'm so happy and I'm just enjoying this because, you know, we got a white fighter and that's a champion. I'm like, he's not an American. Why would you, you know, that opened my eyes to HBO. And I know a lot of people talked about how.
When did Larry Merchant say that comment?
He said that when.
And what was the fighter that we saying that about?
Tyson Fury.
Okay. When
Tyson Fury beat Wilder, you know, and he was just like, well, I'm going to enjoy this because we've had only seldom white fighters, and then the great Black Hope didn't come out. And I'm like, what? Whoa, what'd you say? So it was one of those things where, and it made a lot of people that were saying, hey, I told you he was racist. I told you, because, you know, that was the same one Floyd cursed out, the same one that had problems with Roy Jones, the same one that had problems with Bernard Hopkins, that, oh, you're not fighting the right opponents and this, that, and he wouldn't blatantly come out at times, but he would like, you know, that real sly way of insulting, like, well, did anyone really want to see this fight? And then he would be interviewing these guys, and, you know, he pissed Bernard Hopkins off one time.
Yeah, I know. Loads of times.
Yeah. And one I can remember in particular, he said that, well, you know, why did you feel that it was necessarily the thing to fight this particular guy? And Bernard was like, Larry, stop being ignorant. If I wouldn't have fought the guy, they would have stripped me of my belt.
I remember that. But also, you gotta remember this, it's like, unfortunately, and I don't like getting onto this black and white thing. I always try my best to avoid it because I always get branded racist in the UK. And it's like, people are people. And for Larry Merchant to come out with that after, like, oh, well, we got a white champion now, how great it is, then that's wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's wrong because you're not basing it on nationality, but skin tone.
Right.
So you're speaking with a superior mindset. Like, you know, you've been so hard done by right throughout history. You know, when you're talking history, you're talking to me, you know. So I could just blurt out loads of shit. Right? So, and Larry Merchant should know better. But the thing about it is this, is like, these guys were in a position of power. They were in a position of power. They're no longer in a position of power. No one don't care about you. Right? Let's just tell it as it is. Right? So you can speak that kind of rhetoric. Could you imagine, like, if I turned around and said, oh, how great it is that we've got a black champion now and blah, 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 and all the rest of it? You'd get murdered for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You would. And also, Larry Merchant he always gave certain fighters a hard time. But that's why I love George Foreman, because George Foreman used to put me in his place regularly. George Foreman would check him like, look, Larry, have you boxed before? You know what I mean? Shut up. Right. So
Right.
that's how it goes. You know what I mean? And I mean, to hell with Larry Merchant, man.
Right. Yeah, it was just an eye opener, and I was like you, wasn't trying to read into too many things until something blatantly happened. So yeah, I'm with you. But as far as Oleksandr Usyk, wrapping that up, and Deontay Wilder, no show, distraction.
I ain't interested. Well, I'm not interested. You want to talk heavyweight boxing? Look, let's just make Tyson Fury and Joshua and done. That's it. Because that's the fight we want to see. Right? That's the fight that we want to see. Right? And especially now, it has a historic twist to it, because similar to the time of the Great Depression in America and the Prohibition times, if a fighter can or a fight that will capture the imagination of heavyweight boxing in that manner, then we'd have to go back to the 30s of Joe Louis, Max Milling to capture global recognition, right? Heavyweight title fights that have done that.
Right.
Ali Frazier, you know what I mean? Ali Foreman, global recognition. That this fight's on par with those fights to say, right, for global recognition, that would be the fight that we would have global recognition about it, because there were two fighters supposedly in their prime going up against each other. So if we look throughout history, on when did we get two heavyweights in their prime going at each other? We had big fights which were built as big fights, like Tyson Spinks was at June of '88. But on the reals, Michael Spinks had taken him in his career. It was done. His legs were shot. Right. But when you get two guys of this time here, that's the fight that just needs to happen. Period. Forget about everything else. That's the fight that needs to happen, so we can sit down and say, yeah, in the time of this Great Depression, this lockdown of COVID-19 or COVID-21 now, because it's new and improved now, like they've improved the shit now, right? So at the time of Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury got it on, right? So we can register in history of this time of, this is another Great Depression that we're going through right now. So that's the fight that we need to see.
Okay, so do you think if the fight happens, do you think it will have any problem if we are in lockdown, if it does happen, do you think that type of fight can be without a crowd?
No.
I
think there will be a crowd, but a very selected crowd. Just like we had at Wembley for Joshua's last fight, there was 1,000 people there. Right. I think there would be a crowd there. There was a crowd last week for Callum Smith versus Canelo. So I think there would be a crowd there, but it won't be a big sellout crowd. It'd be how many did they have at the Canelo fight? Was it 8,000 people, was it?
10.
10,000. Well, come on, man. So yeah, 10, that would do.
Yeah.
That would do.
Yeah. I mean, there was to be fair, it was only 14,000 people in attendance at the Joshua Ruiz fight in Saudi Arabia. Right?
Yeah, but it was Saudi Arabia. There's a new kind of enterprise that they were doing out there. You know, first heavyweight title fight that's ever been out in the Middle East. I get that, but I would say there'll be a crowd there, and the buys be through the roof, because most people are at home now. So the best time to capture things or to promote things will be right now.
It's right at home.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Come on, man. That'll be a massive, massive fight. And the fight that I pray that happens in the new year.
Yeah. Well, so the next question would be, if the fight needs a crowd, will the fight be pushed back because they do need to wait for it to be a crowd?
No, because they just had a crowd recently when Canelo fought. So if they had 10,000 people there, that's enough. 10,000 people, that's enough, right?
Yeah, it's enough. But you think it's going to be in America then?
No, hopefully the fight's in Saudi Arabia. That's what I hope the fight's in. I hope the fight's in the Middle East. I'll be real.
Right.
I mean, soldier Americans, man, you don't get everything. Like, but no, it's, hopefully it can be in Saudi Arabia.
Right. Okay. Well, hey, man, the fight we need to see: Spence, Crawford, Joshua, Fury. Let's get it on. We'll see how it unfolds. Again, brother, I appreciate you coming on.
Oh, come on, man. I love jumping on your channel. And I love speaking because it's a different demographic. I really do enjoy the American people who jump on because they're diehard fight fans as well. And you get a lot of support, Kurt. So just keep on doing what you're doing. I mean, keep on slipping, moving, jabbing, and counterpunching, and you'll be all right, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. And you enjoy some of that rum dessert that you had before.
Yeah, man. Blue Jays rum cake is the future.
Yes, sir.
Right? Anytime the American guys come to London, remember, it's all about eating West Indian food. West Indian food is the future. I swear down. Rum cake's the one. All right? Take care. God bless.
You got it, brother. Appreciate you. God bless you.
All right.
All right, man. Peace.
All right, Kurt. Nice one, man. You got loads of content. You can chop that up so you'll be all right, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely, man. I'll chop it up.
Because Lennox Lewis phoned me